What's up, guys? Sam from Rad Junk here, and today we're going to be showing off some weird stuff for my game room. So when you've been collecting as long as I have, you eventually kind of start running out of normal games to collect, and you kind of start looking for weird stuff. And I have plenty of that, so we're going to start a new series where I show off some of the weirder stuff and give you a little history lesson, and hopefully you learn about something obscure you didn't know about. So let's go. So today we're going to talk about diabetes. So there were 3 console games about diabetes, and they all happen to be on Nintendo consoles. So we got 2 games on Super Nintendo and 1 on the DS. And, we're going to learn about diabetes and diabetes games. Because, Nintendo used to be pretty innovative. Imagine. So, a little background, if you don't know anything about diabetes, it's basically, type 1 anyway, which is what these games are pretty targeted at. Your body doesn't produce insulin, which is what breaks down sugar in your body. If you have too much sugar in your blood, it will, break down your blood vessels, destroy your organs, and you'll die. So, diabetes management is super important, and type 1, juvenile diabetes normally happens in kids. So in the 70s and 80s, we're making a lot of strides in diabetic research, learning a lot of things. We got the first synthetic insulin that's got patented in the early 80s, and a lot more kids were being diagnosed with diabetes. Some executive out there was like, all right, what are the kids into? Kids like video games, so why don't we make a video game to help them manage their diabetes? Which in theory is a great idea. In execution, not so much, which we're going to talk about our first game where that execution is god-awful. The first game on the list that we're going to talk about is Captain Novalin. Now, Captain Novalin was made by a company called Array Systems, and they put out the 4 health hero games. So you've got this one, you've got Bronchi the Bronchiosaurus, which teaches kids how to manage their asthma. You got Rex Ronin, which is, it's supposed to teach the dangers of smoking. And then you've got another diabetes game, which we'll talk about later, which is Pachy and Marlin. So, Captain Novalin is a bad game. So you're basically like a superhero, and he doesn't really have any powers. Oh, it's so bad. It's just so bad. So basically, you're Captain Novalin. He's the diabetes captain, I guess. I don't know. And there's aliens invading the city, and you have to save the mayor because he's only got 2 days worth of insulin left. And you walk through a platform, and the aliens are disguised as donuts and, sodas and sugar. But then there's other aliens that are disguised as healthy foods that you can eat, the good aliens, but the bad aliens will destroy you. And Captain Novalin also doesn't have any attacks. He's just walking through and, taking his insulin and making sure that he eats enough snacks, but he doesn't have an attack. You can kind of slam him down if you jump high enough and you get the buttons right, but it's kind of hard to get that button right. And yeah, and you have to, make sure that you take your insulin. You got your doctors telling you what to do and how to take care of yourself, which in theory is good, but this gameplay it is god-awful. It's horrible. How are you going to be a whole superhero and not even be able to, punch a bag of chips or something? I don't know, man. And then, you're supposed to eat the snacks, the good and healthy snacks, but if you eat too many, you also lose because your blood sugar is high. Like in real life, which, again, good in theory, not great as a gameplay. So, yeah, Captain Novalin is awful. And I feel like, if I was a kid and my parents got this game for me and made me play it, I would just be a bad diabetic out of spite because the game is so bad. So our next diabetes game, also from, great publisher Rhea Systems, we've got Pachy and Marlin. So this game is admittedly a lot better than Captain Novalin. It's still not great, but it is a significant improvement on gameplay. So Captain Novalin came out in 1992. Pachy Marlin came out in 1995, so I guess they had a little bit more time to make improvements upon the games. Like I said, it's better. It's not a good game, but it's better than Captain Novalin. The bar is really low here. So basically, you play as Pachy and or Marlin, whichever one. I don't know which one you're playing as. I guess Pachy. Your elephant children at summer camp, and a bunch of rats come in and steal your insulin and supplies. And you have to get your insulin back from the rats who steal insulin from children at summer camp. So in this game, at the very least, the elephant children do have an attack. Wow, imagine having, a projectile. So you shoot out bubbles or apples or whatever you've collected in the time. It still follows the same kind of thing that Captain Novalin does, where you have to watch how many snacks you're eating, because if you eat too many, by the end of the level, your blood sugar's high and you have to start over. And yeah, you gotta go through and you gotta fight rats who steal insulin from children. Like I said, the gameplay is it's not the worst game I've ever played. It's kind of hard though. The enemies, they come for you. Those rats are mean, which I guess is to be expected from someone who will steal insulin from children. I don't know, man. So this game actually, I guess, was effective for the kids, though. There was a research firm in London in 1997 that, they had 2 control groups. They gave all of them Super Nintendos. They gave one group copies of Pachy and Marlin, and the other group a different game. And the kids who got Pachy and Marlin had way less instances of, having to come to the doctor for diabetic emergencies, and they were a lot more self-sufficient after playing the game. So I guess, it did what it was intended. So yeah, that's Pachy and Marlin. These diabetes doesn't maybe translate into a great video game. I don't know. All right, so this is our third and final game that we're going to talk about. This is The Digit. So this came out in 2009. It was made by Bayer. You know and love it. They make the aspirin and many other medical supplies in this game. So basically the way this works is it comes with a glucometer that you plug into your DS, and then it's got Knock 'em Down's World's Fair, which is a bunch of mini games, and you get points based on whether your blood sugar levels are in range or not. So again, if you don't know about diabetes, you basically, you have to prick your finger, make it bleed a little bit, put your blood on a little test strip, and it'll check the level of sugar within your blood. And if it's too high, you should need to take some more insulin. If it's too low, you should eat some carbs. And if it's in range, then it's good, great, and you get extra points in the game. Now, I don't have any gameplay of this one because I couldn't really find any, and I'm not going to open this up because it's sealed and Joe will murder me, divorce me, and that'll be that. So I'm not going to open this for the video, but it is really cool. So you can kind of see the back here, check your blood sugar, get points in the game, do the things. So backstory on this, it's actually pretty cool. There's a company in 2007 called Guidance Interactive. And they came up with the idea and they made the Gluco Boy, which was for the Game Boy Advance. Basically the same thing as the Digit, but it was an all-in-one game in the cartridge and it went into the Game Boy Advance. And it was only in Australia. Didn't sell super well, to be honest, but, you know, really cool, innovative idea. Bear liked it. They bought the company. They then destroyed all the unsold units of the Gluco Boys, so they don't exist. I think the Video Game History Foundation and the guy who actually made the Gluco Boy are the only people that have one. So they're stupid rare. But yeah, you know, Bear destroyed all the Gluco Boys and took that idea and turned it into the Digit. So that's it for the diabetes games. There's only 3 that are on physical consoles. I'm sure that there's more like PC games and on the internet, but that's it for physical cartridge games. So if you guys like this video, let me know in the comments. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and we'll be back soon with some more weird stuff from my game room. See you guys later, and stay rad.